Hello, everyone. We are attempting to stream to TikTok as well um, through the family's TikTok. I've gone black, but
Good.
yeah, smash the like and help spread awareness for this family. So, this is the story of Codie Novack. As you can see, we have the family with us, and they've come to. And I've got my YouTube on. I just said. We're going to go over the case with them and send you over to the social medias and all that.
Holy Spirit.
Okay. Hello, Paula. Okay. So that's how that works. Okay. Do you just want to give us a quick, like we just discussed, just a quick, like, you know, about Cody, what she was like and things like that?
I'm going to give you an introduction first. My name is April. I am Cody's mother. This is Debbie, Cody's sister.
Hello.
And I'm sure in the audience is some of Cody's remaining family. Cody was 27 years old. Just like your picture, she's a bit of fire and a bit of spice. She's the type of person that was raised, along with her siblings, to give more than she received. She'd give you the shirt off her back, an ear to listen to. She'd be able to tell you who was good and who was bad normally. She would be the type of girl that would constantly be there no matter what hour of the day or night to listen to every story you had. But at the same time, if you made her mad, you knew it. She wouldn't give you the time of day. She had a great sense of humor. She liked to play practical jokes. She is the heart of our family. She kept the family with.
She's like the glue of a grandmother in most families.
Right.
Once the grandmother's gone, there's no more glue.
She was an old soul.
So everyone's just saying hello and welcome. So Cody's case was parents reported her missing, and then a few days later, she was found deceased. And basically, it was ruled as a number of things actually at first, but then I think you said it was alcohol, wasn't it? In the end, um, yeah.
In a sense, yeah. It was a really weird morning. I sent her text messages, and January 3rd, she walked out of my home. She was going to take care of her driver's license and have it transferred from Pennsylvania to Florida. She grabbed some documents. She said that, of course, it was her residence, and she was using this address. And she was back and forth all day trying to get things done. This ended up being, Mom, I have control of things. I'm on top of things. I'm going to gather my things. I'll be back in the morning. Morning never came. She never returned. It was a couple days. I would text her. I didn't get a response. I didn't get an answer. All my children, my entire family is Life 360 GPS'd. And when I looked at her phone, I realized that it was marked at the sheriff's office. I immediately made some phone calls, one to her dad, concerned, and we called the sheriff's office and asked where or if they had any calls concerning her. You know, we had a belief there was possibly domestic violence going on in her relationship with the on and off boyfriend, who she had walked out the door that day with. They assured me that no, there was no calls. They ran her name, they ran her birthday, they ran the boyfriend's name and birthday. They assured us no calls. They didn't have her, not at any time. And I explained to them that her phone pinged there. They said, well, maybe she's sitting outside. So her sister and I were just going to continue driving around looking for her. We finally reached the boyfriend on January 5th. We located the boyfriend by phone and asked them what was going on and where is my daughter and why isn't she answering her phone. He specifically said, "Didn't they call you?" Who? The medical examiner. From being where we're from, we thought medical examiner meant a medical office, an urgent care. And he said, she's on an autopsy table, cold, callous, no words other than that. And I, at that point, lost my mind because it just took me a hot minute to figure out what he even meant. And I asked him in an explicit way if she was, explicit word, dead. And he said, yeah. And I started screaming.
So,
What he left me was with, when I asked any further question, was all I have was a medical card that they left him when they took her body.
so going to the week that this happened, as in, from when she was found to when you started noticing things, was there signs that there was something wrong, as in, something's not right here, we need to talk to her and things like that? Because I noticed she said about domestic violence.
In the relationship, now they had been, in a sense, dating for 2 years. 1 year online while we lived in Pennsylvania. We relocated to Florida. And when we went to relocate, she decided to stay in Connecticut for a short period. And during those phone calls and virtual calls, we noticed some injuries to her face, which required medical care. She claimed she didn't remember what happened on different times. We finally got her to come to Florida with us. At that point, he followed along. He, at that point, wasn't welcome in our house prior due to an injury, due to circumstances and incidents in our home on one other circumstance of a day in September of that year, where he virtually attacked the family verbally and openly urinated on myself sitting in my own living room. There was an incident report filled out. That following year is when the second incident happened, and I was in my home. My daughter was in her room, and I heard them arguing, and we had to interrupt the bedroom. I broke down the door, and he was in my daughter's face, verbally attacking her and assaulting her, and I removed him from my house a second time. She doesn't recall the incident. She never recalled it the next morning. I only learned that hindsight through her phone with the text messages. She thought it was me. She completely lost her memory, in a sense, that it even happened. Every time that she may have had a bruise, she chalked it up as I forgot or I don't know what happened. So I never had any inclination or proof that it was actually him doing something.
Yeah. So there was definitely signs. It's not like you've just come to the assumption of it. I mean, you said
No.
he kicked off in your house. Do you know what I mean? While you were there, it's unusual, but it's not, what's the word? It's not out the realms, if that makes sense. So it does happen. But definitely there were red flags there for you guys. Now, the last time you guys saw her, I remember you told me that she said she was going to get her things.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
January 3rd, before she left the house, I knew something was off. I just didn't put two and two together because whenever we discussed the on and off boyfriend, it always caused a different feeling. She'd always say, "You're not listening to me. You don't understand. I'm trying to give him a better life than he's ever had. He's not that bad of a guy." She always defended him to an extent. And then there was other times where, as of recently, at that time recently, she would say, "No, I'm done. I'm not playing these games no more." And it's in her text messages. I mean, there's over 5,000 text messages between the two. A lot of the conversations she held in text message with him. So that morning she said, I don't think the circumstances are going to be permanent. When she walked out, she said, I'm going to gather my things and I'll be back in the morning. When we picked up her belongings, they were already packed. So I don't think she was saying. I mean, that's inklings tell me that if her things are packed and she has idiosyncrasies. This child has such idiosyncrasies. Most people wouldn't understand them. When she walks into a room, her keys, her wallet, they go on an end table specifically. They aren't usually out of place, no matter how tired she was or how absent-minded she might have been. If they're not there, something's not right.
So one thing as well that you highlighted was the fact that she was planning on leaving. So for me, I highlighted this to you and you agreed. From watching these types of cases, one thing I've learned is that when they want to leave, the victim is at the highest risk. So that should also be alarm bells for law enforcement. So, I mean, did they take the phones and investigate the phones of both people?
No. Upon us finding out, it took us over a week to even talk to the investigator personally after viewing my daughter's body. And seeing the condition of my daughter's body from head to toe, her face, there was marks and bruises and abrasions across her entire body. He told law enforcement that the injuries sustained are possibly from falling and hitting her head and neck. However, after having other professionals review her medical records, they were all defensive wounds. She was hit in the face with something. She has, and some of these descriptions are going to be a little hard as a trigger warning, but she had a protruding tongue. She had petechiae across her entire face and arms, or across her face and her eyes. There was injuries and stuff. Her tongue was purple. The injuries aren't sustained that they have of just a simple fall. They said that because there was alcohol in the house, that she was just drunk and fell. There's no stairs. The marks on her forearms and her front arms, nothing on the palms of her hands. They highlighted that her feet were clean. But yet it wasn't enough for a detective to say, oh, it was domestic violence. However, there was 4 deputies and the medical staff who contested by a different description of what happened. They took the body, they took her phone, and they only took her Pennsylvania ID. No other evidence. They didn't take any samples of nothing. They didn't take any drinks of any sort. They didn't even look to see if there was any blood evidence, which there was, and they didn't test it. The on and off boyfriend supposedly had blood on his face. My daughter had blood on her body. There was blood on the floor. Somebody cleaned up and set up a scene. Things that were out of place in this room, when I go back to your idiosyncrasies, was thrown across the room on the floor. Nothing that they described fits the scenarios of what a detective believes. They assumed her character by her name only. They didn't run any backgrounds. They didn't look for domestic violence. When they asked him and interviewed him, they never fought. And any other witnesses in the home, because it was a shared rental that she didn't even know the rest of these people. 4 other individuals said they saw nothing and heard nothing, but a neighborhood heard it. There are other witnesses that heard an altercation outside and inside the home that aren't even involved. And they never took an account to those witnesses.
So just on top of that, because we've just gone over that, coming back a bit, like I said, there was multiple causes of death at first, wasn't there?
Oh yeah.
Should we go over them just so the chat's
When
aware
we
that it wasn't just ruled,
no,
drunk and fell?
correct. When I first contacted a detective by phone, I asked him to come to my home to discuss some evidence and domestic violence. He assured me that he didn't need to come to my home to even let me know that my daughter was deceased. He said that they ruled her originally as self-inflicted because you can't say the other word. And then he also said it was an OD of drugs. My daughter's tox screen first would be negative. We denied those full-heartedly with evidence. My daughter had just recently and does regularly tox screens for employment. She was actually leaving her current job to go work at the hospital. They just ran her tox screen and blood work. She was not doing drugs. She may have tested pot back in the day in high school or something, but was not an avid drug user, even of pot or any other drug. She was on prescription drugs because she had gastric bypass surgery, and even those medications and vitamins didn't even show up in her blood work.
So, do you see, guys, like it's gone from an overdose to a drunken fall, and there are other causes as well that was mentioned, but it doesn't seem like there was much of an investigation. And was there alcohol in her system, or was it just a case of he said that she was drunk and she fell?
Um, what they said was it wasn't, they said it was ethanol toxicity. We contacted many professionals outside of Florida. We couldn't get any help. We contacted, not only tried to contact the medical examiner, the law enforcement department, representatives, commissioners, the mayor, the state, all the way through. And we kept getting the same thing. We're sorry to hear of your loss. Many of them couldn't offer us an advice, but only referred us back to the sheriff's department for investigation, which we believed was ongoing. By paperwork, it is written as closed within 30 days of her death. However, inside the incident report, the decision was really made the same night before they even removed her body from the scene. When the detective called the medical examiner and said, oh, it's believed to be something of alcohol, because what they're believing is what they found in the home of all this alcohol. And it really wasn't. It was a half a bottle in the kitchen. It was 6 cans of Four Loko, a personal bottle of Bacardi, and I think 1 empty bottle in a trash bag amongst 6 people following New Year's Day.
So, boyfriend, first of all, Karen would like to know how old he is. Where's that gone?
The boyfriend, the on and off boyfriend, is a daily drinker of vodka. He drinks it like
That's
water. He literally
that's
fills
what I was
water
about to-
bottles with it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to allude to. Like, did he have any addictions and things like that? Also,
My
I wanted
daughter
to.
didn't drink. It was
I
never
wanted
a
to apologize.
question if she was drinking or not. But she's 21.
Yeah,
The reason we question the amount of alcohol if she did drink is anybody who knows gastric bypass surgery, she doesn't have the stomach room to drink the amount they say they believe she drank. She had surgery 3 years ago. At one point, she was 400 pounds.
First of all, I want to apologise for what you calling him boyfriend, because I know you said you don't want that.
No, it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll call him suspect from now on.
But we can't call him that either because he's not labeled as a suspect. So you don't want to get in trouble.
Okay, so he's my suspect.
Right.
But what you called? He moved into a place. Now this place, like he hadn't the background checks or anything like that on it, and you later found out that it wasn't a very safe place.
Actually, I did the background on the place for my daughter because of course, I'm a woman and parents. I'm a helicopter mom. I want to know where my kids are, what they do. I don't care how old they are. I want to know who they're in contact with. So she brought me the name and wanted me to make sure the place was safe. The name that they were using was a Charles Burns. Okay, when I did a background on him, the most he had was a DUI. There was nothing else listed. Hindsight, with the police incident report, I find out the person that owns that home is deceased. The individuals in the home, and after contacting the representatives and the county, they don't have legal ownership to this house. In a sense, they're squatting and they're renting out the rooms for rent. Apparently, law enforcement has already been well aware of the property. Law enforcement is very well aware of all of the complaints this property has had. It's been in the news. We didn't know. We were new to Florida. We had no clue who they were, what this house was about. It looked to be in a nice neighborhood. It wasn't until after my daughter's death, and law enforcement was already at this point saying my daughter was friends with these people, hanging out with these people, that they went on a narrative that she was hanging with the bad people at a bad residence.
So, what my suspect, what's he called? He also has a history, doesn't he? Like, I remember you telling me about the history, and none of that was taken. What's it called? None of that was taken into consideration either,
No.
was it? Like, do you want to go over a bit of his history?
According to the reports I pulled, according to the transcripts of 911 call, and according to the background that we have since learned, I have a 10-year history on this guy and the house. Every one of them have records longer than a river. Every one of them somehow has had charges dropped, dismissed, pled out. For every other individual that would have had any one charge of these, we'd be still sitting in jail. Every one of them had domestic violence, drug charges, trafficking charges. There is a slew of them, and not one of them has faced any decent time. I mean, who else can assault a police officer and get charges dropped? Trafficking charges. Who gets a charge for that and only has to serve the minimum time? Who else can beat up a woman over and over and still 3-strike rules, no time?
So you've got a Facebook as well where people can follow your story over there on Facebook, and you've also got a TikTok, haven't you? What I'm going to ask you to do is, because you're in the Discord now, aren't you? If you go to the thread and just pop any link in there that you feel you want shared, and I will share them for the room. Oh yeah.
What we don't understand is, with all of these reports, with the house and with all the complaints and with all the incident reports, my daughter had no record, nothing. And we're looking at 5 individuals who have report after report. We have medics that has described all the inconsistencies and contradictions. But you have one detective who come in and said, no, they misunderstood what they saw. I have a 27-year-old daughter who was the glue to my family, who has no criminal record. And you're going to judge her without even knowing who she was. You're going to discredit what her family says with every mark, bruise, and abrasion on her body. Even if she had been drinking, she did not beat herself up.
Yeah. So Misty says the guy who put the ad up for the room was using a different name, and he's currently serving 6 years.
It's not even 6 years.
No, that's Misty.
Yes, but he's not even serving 6 years now in a sense. I mean, he's trafficking. He's trafficking drugs, and any other law, as right now Florida's law states, it's supposed to be much more than that. I don't understand where this entire household can break all of these laws, but yet are not held accountable. And how many other more unsuspecting individuals are going to walk into the same scenario my 27-year-old daughter did and be judged by the household and not who they are?
So, regarding, because he had a history and things like that, has he gone quiet now?
I haven't spoke to him since that phone call when he told me my daughter was on an autopsy table. But I do know he has had charges since. You know, when my daughter laid on that floor amongst all these people in this house, it wasn't she just fell or he just beat her. When medics showed up, by the medics report, lividity was already in her body. Rigor mortis was already in her body. That's not a short time. Somebody laid there and used her phone, opened accounts, changed passwords, or at least attempted to, activated her phone from the time we believe she was gone until a timer was set at 11:55 p.m. and then utilized 911 services, then hit her phone. I have an officer telling me that she could have called 911. Well, she can't call 911 if she don't have her phone. So if she didn't have her phone and it's hidden in the couch, you would think an officer would have said, well, that wouldn't make sense. You know, if they would have looked at her phone and saw the text messages just beforehand, they would have said, oh, there was an assault, so he's lying. When he said, oh, we didn't have any fights, we've never fought, we're perfect. Because it would have also read how he smashed her car, he smashed her laptop, he flushed her earbuds. And her final message, which we believed to be at 2:53 on January 4th. So in our with those inconsistencies of his speaking and the police body cams, which we do have, that state also inconsistencies with the police reports where evidence was removed or ignored or edited from the police, where they put something in and took it out. It would also tell you that they decided to ignore that evidence.
So I've just put on the screen for everyone. It's in the Discord for those in the Discord. This is her Solver case. Now, you was explaining this to me a bit. They couldn't get anything. They couldn't get anything from Florida in ways of support, so they had to go nationally.
Correct. We've gotten help from outside of Florida. We have gone through 3 other states because some of our case is also Pennsylvania, and there is some cases in Connecticut because we are also trying to get the FBI involved, but the FBI cannot get involved until they are invited in by one of the departments. Currently, as we are still fighting, Marion County refuses to open the case. I have a letter from Marion County that states, even though all the evidence is there, that due to her ethanol level, they are denying an investigation because of the medical examiner's ruling. The medical examiner has also sent us a letter through her legal representation that she was advised not to speak with the family no more.
So, have you got not a private investigator, but a like somebody advocating for you. Because like I was saying, it's one thing you guys go into court, but it's another thing, having an advocate doing it for you. Like I know there is a place, because I sent it to a family where they go to court for you in Florida, and like they deal with the court because obviously it's their job, it's what they do, and things like that. Also, they have investigators on the team and that as well. Have you have you have
Most
you got an advocacy team like that?
No, because most of what they go by is what's written in the police report. Even though the police report is not correct, the medical paperwork is not correct, it has too many inconsistencies, nobody's looking at that. All I keep getting is sent back to the sheriff's department. My correspondence with them is the same thing. No matter what piece of evidence you bring forth, they continue to say it is not being reopened. I've had 2 detectives. I've had 2 private investigators. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, you see, these are non-profits, so at least they won't cost you any money to have a look. But I see what you're saying. So
I mean, I've gone to the
this
governors.
is
I've gone to the junior governor. I've gone to FDLE. FDLE says that, yes, the medical examiner, they can't make her change her mind, that it's her medical opinion. Well, I don't want medical opinions. I want medical facts. I mean, they tested my daughter's blood and certified her death date as January 11th. When you call the lab and ask for the chain of command, they said they don't even have a chain of command from January 12th when they received the testing. The results weren't even until January 29th. So whose blood work did they test? Where did they get the blood work from?
so.
There's so many
Misty says.
inconsistencies with that in testing.
Misty says. I'm waiting for it to come up on screen now. No, Mr. Steve's actually busy. Otherwise, I would have recommended Mr. Steve. But unfortunately, he's brilliant at these sort of cases, but he's fully booked and he's a one-man arm, so there's not a lot he can do. So all the offers that showed up thought it was a crime until one detective shows up. Within hours,
Correct.
determines it was said to be an accident, no investigation at all.
Correct.
And
All
this
4
is
deputies.
your
Yes, that's one of my teammates. That's one of my teams that's helping me dig.
yeah.
There's 4 deputies that sat there, and they all believe something was a crime scene. They marked it as a crime scene. It wasn't until a detective showed up that all of a sudden he even wrote it in the reports that, oh, you all mistake what you saw.
So I'm guessing this is your TikTok that's up in the Facebook group, but this is your group because you've got a page as well, haven't you? And on the
Yes.
group, I'm guessing this is where you post events like this live, and when you want to put the case online, this is where you post things like that.
We have both. We started out with a page, a group, and then when we started to go viral, we did a page. It was easier to share her story because I didn't have to accept you as a follower or a page. So we went public with a page versus the private group. But I try to share to both because right now it's about advocacy. It's not only about sharing my daughter's story, but there are many stories here in Florida that we've come across while we're digging for truth and transparency. There's over 20 missing individuals here in Marion County alone. Their families are all asking for the same thing. So we started advocating for all missing people. Something is wrong. There should be no reason that a family has to advocate the way we're advocating for each of our loved ones. Why are families being ignored?
So the page, the page you've got, that's a bit more in detail, though, isn't it?
Correct.
Let me get.
I mean, when I have
So
to go
this
outside of the
is the
state
page.
and share this information,
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
it's okay.
So as you can see, guys, this is how you can. They've got a Justice for Codie, YouTube, an email. The solver case is linked on there. The Facebook group's also linked on there, and there's reports that you can go through, have a see their story, messages they found, and
And we put
paperwork
some
that
fun
they've
things
got.
on there.
Say again.
There is there's some fun things on there just to, when people are just scrolling, they happen to see some little funny things on there just to build awareness, and it brings them to the page. But on the top, we have some pin things, the story of, what happened, the room that's listed for rent. I also put a story on there of, a parent's loss, things we're dealing with. I mean, the good, bad, the ugly of a parent's loss. I mean, my heart breaks for any parent. No parent should have to be walking through any loss, let alone this type of loss. At 27, a child, I mean, she's always going to be a child to me. I don't care what age you are. If you're a kid, you're a kid. But, no parent should have to be walking through a loss. She was never expected to say, walk out my front door and not return. We're ourselves are learning about domestic violence. She wasn't brought up with domestic violence. She was brought up in a loving home. But it goes on with, there are other victims that are at risk right now on multiple levels. Not only with what he's capable of doing, but if you're in a house that has constant calls with law enforcement ignoring, I shouldn't have 7 to 8 incident reports written with no response, with unresolved. When they have the perpetrator, when they have the information, my daughter's life is being stolen and missing, and they have the information, they shouldn't be sitting unresolved.
Yeah, I agree. So as you heard, they're networking with other families that are in the area in the similar circumstances where they have cases and things like that. They're all. I mean, here's one now. Adam's mom.
Yeah,
She was on
there's
the
a
other
lot of
day.
families down here. I mean, they may not all be domestic violence, but we have one common denominator. It's either law enforcement, medical examiner. But how many cases are like this? There should be no reason that law enforcement is not doing their due diligence to investigate cases. When somebody goes missing, they don't even put up a flyer. They might put up a flyer on the website, if that. My daughter didn't have a flyer. They didn't even know she was missing. I mean, this misdiagnosis of deaths, this injustice of families fighting for justice. I mean, my only saving grace is because I'm actually from Pennsylvania. So I have incident reports there. I have incident reports in Connecticut. These other families may not have that. But I'm not going to stop because they're people's just as long as my daughter. They all deserve justice. They all deserve something. They all deserve some kind of law enforcement to work these cases because they're somebody and they mean something. Our children should not have to go through fighting for this.
So what I was alluding to, guys, was they're actively working with other families to try and come together to try and build awareness together. Like Adam's mum, who's in the chat that we had on the other day, and I've put them in contact with one or two families that we've had on before that are pretty much the same type of case, as well as I've put them in contact with Princess and also I think PJ. I sent PJ the group. She's another advocate that looks into these types of cases to try and help them, you know, build an online persona, who they are, and they want to. If they want to talk about the case, they can talk about the case, as well as if people are, you know, in the same sort of boat, we can send them to this family and to families that are going through the same sort of thing, because this is the goal now for this family. They don't just want justice; they want to help any potential victim or any along those lines. They want to help them too now. So it's really important that we help them grow. So if you could, what I'm going to do. Oh, Princess has just popped in the chat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a post after the live. I'll get with family and I will get all the links that they need and I'll put them in a post after the live for you. So you can go out if you aren't on Facebook, but you are on TikTok. There'll be the TikTok option. If you are on Facebook, there'll be the two groups, and there will also be the solver case, which I don't know much about, but it's obviously something that they've spoke about a lot.
The solver case is for any family. If you have a missing loved one or a suspicious case or a homicide and you're not getting results or you need extra help, I got it through another advocacy situation where I went to it and was able to add my daughter's case. I actually got it from somebody in Pennsylvania. And it actually did bring me some information and some extra help. So if you have a case and you are an individual that you need to add to it, go to the site and look. It's been a great tool for myself. It helps you with flyers. It helps you with outreach. And that's where I got a lot of my information from. It is another tool for those who have missing loved ones.
So, Princess, that might be something that you'd be interested in looking for with your families. And guys, anybody in chat going through anything similar, like Adam's mum's in the chat, maybe that'd be something, a tool that she can help, that can help her by putting the information on that site, and hopefully then we can start getting answers in all the cases. And like I said, these like they're not just out for themselves; they're trying to help families around them.
We are not monetized. We are not getting donations. We have not done any GoFundMe's. We're literally just doing word of mouth because what we want is advocacy to not have anybody go through what we have gone or experienced. You know, and those that are, that's what is helping us. I mean, there are families upon families here. You don't even know until it happens to you what's going on. I mean, I wouldn't have looked beyond my fence until this happened. And then you learn it and you can't unsee it. You can't unhear it. It just changes your world.
So, justice for Codie Novack. All social media tags name is Justice for Codie Novack. So, if you are not very good with links and things like that, scribble that down. But I will post for people that are on replay and they skip through and they might miss this. And I'll make the post as well for people that aren't aware live, and then they see, and then they come and look for the live.
I know we kind of got off topic a little, but I will tell you, and I am aware of it. Not only are these individuals still walking among our communities, causing harm and damage, but the on and off again boyfriend had left after Codie's incident, went back to the state of Connecticut, Cheshire, Connecticut, and dated another girl. He attacked her in very much the same fashion of my daughter. He bore a son. And he escaped charges again. That is not his only charge since then. It's not his only incident since then. There are still investigations going on. But how many more are in his path of damage? And how many more families are going to go through what we have gone through? We have reached out to every girl that we can ever see that he has gone to and tried to warn them. I don't want any family to ever go through what we've gone through. We've been in contact. Like I said, he has a 10-year history with his past girlfriends because we didn't know them before. And we've heard similar stories. I'm not afraid of mentioning his name. I don't care because I have the proof to back up my stories and the text messages of how he assaulted my child, on how the damage he's done. I did file a civil suit only for the damages, hoping to face him in court. He never showed. We did win on default because he didn't show. But I have not gone after him for anything else. He has not been charged criminally. I'm still waiting for that investigation, for a full investigation.
If it's something that you're okay with doing, things like the text messages and that, you can do a shorter live or maybe a video for the channel where I'll go over them messages and things like that for you if you want. But if you don't want to, that's fine.
Some of them are
but if you do want, yeah, I know you said that, but I was just making sure it was okay with you before going and grabbing them.
There's nothing hidden on my daughter's Facebook. There's nothing you can do to her. She didn't do anything wrong except for give her heart to somebody. And the only time she didn't speak up was to him. To everybody else, she always had a voice. I don't know. I mean, I'm learning why, but, you know, she was always sugar and spice. But for whatever reason, she couldn't that day.
So Jinx says, I have so much admiration for you that you have the strength to make something positive of dealing with such a tragedy. And I pray that you get justice for Codie.
I pray that too, but I pray that no other family has to go through what we've gone through.
Yeah. Well, Jinx is from Kentucky anyway, so we don't listen to her.
All voices matter.
Listen, there's only one voice in this world that don't matter.
All voices matter except for one right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And I hate that I feel that way. I hate that, you know, that I can hate somebody so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been through like you're never going to, well, touch wood, you're not ever going to go through something so traumatic again. And hopefully something somewhere along the line wakes up where, I don't know, whether it's a cold case team goes over it or anything like that and reopens the case and it gets justice. Adam's mom says, I believe it's okay to say their name once you have enough proof.
I've always said their name. I always have. I'm not afraid of his name. Let him bring it to me.
Well, I mean, we was talking about on full stream about the possibilities of a civil suit. I don't want to go too much into that in case like it affects it, but definitely look into that. If you need help looking into that, I'll try and help you. And
my problem in Marion County, and the reason I haven't been able to do it yet is, and I've spoken to many attorneys, but they don't practice law in Marion County. So I have to find somebody outside the county that's willing to practice law here because they call it a good old boys club.
Yeah.
So I'm still working that avenue because you can't change facts. You can only change a lie.
It is thought that she could fix him, and it's the thought that she could fix him, and the shame that she let herself be treated the way he was treating her. Yeah,
Yes.
see, that's another telltale sign that
Well,
something was going on, because that seems to be the thing, the theme, that the women in that situation, they seem to think that they can fix the person.
that was her going line because every time I thought something was wrong and I would discuss with her, she said, Mom, you raised me to know better. You raised me to be a good influence. You raised me that I can be a good influence for him and give him things that he claimed he was never offered in life. But I never taught her when to stop. That you should just give people because you are that good influence. But now I'm trying to teach my children, you've got to learn when to stop. I have myself have to learn when to stop.
Yeah, we will never give up. Oh,
Not as
that's
long as there's a,
one of
not
your
as long as I
relatives.
have a voice.
The justice account, just so you know, typing that you keep reading is me.
Oh,
I'm going with some of the comments here and there.
yeah.
My computer person.
Shorty said, please don't ever give up. So that's why I said,
No.
we will never give up. That's a promise.
No.
Good old boy club is a Florida thing, I guess.
It is. Well, I've heard other places have it too, but you know, apparently it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah,
But I
and
wasn't.
just so people that don't know the channel and things like that are watching, we're not bashing law enforcement
I'm
as a
not.
whole. What we're saying is this particular place seems to be
The new term I've
which
heard is a sundown town. That also came across as a rumor. I come from a law enforcement family with many law enforcement, and I wholeheartedly believed in law enforcement. I do. But the response I'm getting from law enforcement here is quite the opposite of what I believed. They've literally looked at me and told me they don't have a victim. They told me that she just hangs at a bad place at a bad residence. They've literally told me she should have just called 911 or left. But we don't have those answers because if she could have just left, don't you think she would have? I mean, her phone was hidden in the couch. She was in a bedroom. If you're being, there's a lot of scenarios that we don't understand, that we may not have the answers to. And if you're going to look at a girl laying on a floor, beaten up, and nobody else has marks, do you not think there's something wrong with that picture?
So Jill says, I'll keep you in my prayers for Codie Novack. You are such a strong woman. I don't know if I could be as strong as you. God bless you. And then Jinx put, you ladies are an inspiration.
Sad part is I look strong. I didn't ask for this duty, but there are days I'm very weak.
Yeah. But that's where your little tech whiz next year comes in, I'm sure. So
it's the supporters and the other families and their heartbreak that also keeps us going. Because if we don't do it and we don't stand up for our children, they're not going to get anywhere. They're not going to get justice, and they're not going to get, in a sense, their name cleared. Because that's what we're doing right now is we're defending her name. We're defending our child's name to something they didn't do.
So is there anything you want to say before we start closing up shop? Because keeping it around about an hour seems to be a little theme.
Thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for who's supporting. If you could share her story. And I'm always there. If they were on my page and they need an ear, I mean, I'm an empath. I'll suck it all in and be there to listen. If you got to cry or scream, I'm right there with everybody who's going through something similar. We can be a voice together. We need change. We need something, to raise that voice. And so all those other ones, don't forget, I'm still hunting.
Paulie says, I'm busy, but I was listening in my earbuds. Is this from PA? Message me the name, please. Paulie, they're from PA, but the incident happened
Originally, we're from Pennsylvania, but relocated to Florida, and this
Yeah.
happened within 3 months of her being here.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. So Paulie, you see, he's our Italian American friend. Yeah. So, if you guys are going through something similar or have been through something, please reach out to this family because they want to hear they don't just want to tell you their story, they want to hear your story, and they want to, because what they do, the more of you there is together, the louder the voice. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Also, like Mom said, she has bad days some days. So you guys have been there, and you guys can go through it together, and it's a great support mechanism.
Yeah. I agree.
Explain to them if he has time. There is a case open in Pennsylvania.
We do have incident reports in Pennsylvania. They just sit there. There's nothing going with them like the rest of the reports. But we're keeping a paper trail.
That's what Polly said.
So yeah, I will do a little live going over the text messages and that, and anything else on the Facebook. What I'll do is I'll grab it off the Facebook and then I'll send it to you and say, is it okay to use this and whatnot? And I'll do like either a little live or I'll make a video on it so people can see what you're on about. Well, they can come over to the Facebook, and I encourage them to come over to the Facebook. But it'll be on the channel, so people that don't Facebook and things like that will be able to see it.
Thank you. Anything on her Facebook is available. It is all public information.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. So I want you guys to leave some hearts in the chat for the family. I want to thank you guys for coming on. You did an amazing job, by the way. And I don't want to say her name because I'll get it wrong. But Adam's mom says she's here for you. And I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to get that post together for you. So people that aren't aware of the case will be aware of the case, and they'll be able to come over to your TikTok, to your all your social medias, and help spread awareness.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll let you
for
go then.
Who's supporting.
Yeah, I'll let you go then. And I don't know what I'm doing here.
We'll close on this side.
Yeah. So, guys, there's no intro or outro because I'm using a new format and I don't know what I'm doing with it. I don't know what I'm doing with it. So it's going to be blunt. I'll say
goodbye. Well, goodbye, and thank you again for anybody who's supporting.
Yeah, thank you all for coming, and thank you to you guys for coming and telling your story.